Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company of Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have a 1v1 on Kholodny Ferma Winter Battlefield. Our heroes today are going to be Ir0nRoman, playing for the Germans, and we have Inverse, playing for the Soviets of the Red Army. Both players very well known. Inverse also a very well known player, has his own YouTube channel, frequently streams and everything. I'll probably put his link to his channel down in the description below for this game, although he hasn't actually uploaded anything recently, but you know, you can still check out his stuff. But anyways, enough of that. Ir0nRoman has got himself tier 1 with his pioneers and got himself grenadiers, so no Ostrupid this time. A little bit change of pace there, that's what we've seen recently. But yeah, very nice. So we're going to see a 2 grenadier opening for Ir0nRoman. And Inverse is also going to be getting himself just conscripts, so 2 conscripts off the bat. So we will see how that works out. Kholodny Ferma. I think it's been a while now, but yeah, pretty much the map that everybody knew. Since alphas, I think, and everything, but oh well. So the 2nd grenadier out for Ir0nRoman. 2nd conscript also out for Inverse, so pretty much dead even right now with the unit production. We see a battle in the center, that is conscripts against pioneers. Pioneers are backing off, and it looks like they're going to put themselves in the heavy cover. No, they're just staying around there. Conscripts jumping the fence, probably going to take position inside the church. Yeah, there they go. And the pioneers get the hell out of there because they can't really stand up against that. Up north, we see the grenadiers capturing that fuel point, while down south, we see the combat engineers for Inverse capturing the victory point, and having already captured that fuel point down south, so very nice. So both players getting that fuel early on. Ir0nRoman getting it in a couple seconds. Now we see the conscripts going to the north, where we'll see if they go straight for the fuel or they're going to capture that point. Engagement in the center a little bit still. We see some firing going on. Grenadiers and conscripts fighting it out. Conscripts are in the house while the grenadiers are in heavy cover, so this could be a lengthy fight unless something else comes along to, you know, change it up. 3rd conscript squad on the field now for Inverse, while at the same time we have a 3rd grenadier out for Ir0nRoman. So very similar strategies right now going on. We'll see how that develops. 4th conscript squad being produced for Inverse, so he's going to be quite fond of those, and especially because he already chose his doctrine, and that is the Guards Rifle Combined Arms tactics, which will give his conscripts the ability to hit the dirt and get PPSHs. So that is why he's getting 4. He's going to, well, make the most use out of those conscripts as he can. Conscripts are up north hitting Ura, trying to go for the house, but the grenadiers are way ahead of them and decide to jump in them themselves. Now they jump out since they notice that the conscripts didn't go for it. 2nd conscript squad up north is going to capture that victory point, while the initial one is going to continue moving forward. It'll probably, no, it's not going to run into that grenadier squad. 2nd grenadier squad moving into the zone though, so Ir0nRoman is preparing himself to defend this area a little bit heavily. Engagement still in the center going on. We now see that the conscripts actually lost one of their men inside the church. You can see him clumped over, fell through the window, while the grenadiers haven't actually taken pretty much any damage. There are only 3 windows from this side, so the conscripts do have superior protection, but they do not have superior firepower. Here we have all 4 grenadiers firing at the church, while only 3 other conscripts are shooting back. MG42 moving up north is going to provide heavier cover, probably going to jump it into that house. We see an engagement up north, conscripts and pioneers. Pioneers are simply in that shack, and they are not actually, you know, trying to decap. They're trying to hold the ground while more forces move into the zone. Grenadiers moving forward towards the victory point, while the other conscript squad is actually backing away. Not sure where they're actually going to go. And down south, we see that the combat engineers actually finished capturing the entire south unopposed and have now decided to just sit there and, well, not do anything because, well, he didn't anticipate queuing up so many orders and having them all done. Over here by the cutoff point, we also see a conscript squad just essentially set up in a more defensive position. They're not going very forward. Now we see the conscript squad pushing up while the combat engineers got themselves that flamethrower and are now on top of the grenadiers. Not exactly sure if that's what they were trying to do, but, well, that's where they are. They do burn one of those grenadiers alive. One of the combat engineers does drop down to the ground. Second one goes down to those grenadiers, and the grenadiers are now finally forced off of the field. While a second grenadier squad with an LMG-42 comes up to support, it is going to stop a little bit short from the units and open up with its LMG. Combat engineers are very low in health, down to one man. Second grenadier squad in the zone. This combat engineer needs to get itself out of there, and there it goes on the retreat. Should be able to make it out alive. Second conscript squad backs off away. It's probably going to jump that fence to get some additional cover. We do hear an MG-42 opening up. It did get garrisoned in that house and is forcing away that conscript squad. While also up in the north, we have an engagement from a grenadier and a conscript squad. We may see a rifleman going down on that. But the engagement in the center is still going on. Still the conscripts, still grenadiers. So these guys have actually been in that church for quite a while. Second conscript squad is just simply moving around and decides that that engagement is not for it. Now, we do have a Tier 1, or Escalate to Battle Phase 1 going down by Ir0nRoman. So he's probably going to get himself a Tier 2 soon. And we see a total investment of 5 Grenadiers and 1 MG for Ir0nRoman in his Tier 1, while Inverse went for 4 Conscripts and 1 Combat Engineer, getting himself Tier 2 right now. So, I think we've seen this before. It's actually one of those Inverse, if you actually go to his channel. Like I said, I'll try to put the link down. He made a strat video early on, I believe back in the beta, about getting yourself 4 conscripts into a second combat engineer, going Tier 2 and then Tier 3, getting yourself T-34s. Obviously, T-34s were a little bit better back then, but I think it's still viable right now. It allows you to get those AT guns and T-34s, you know, to fight off enemy armor, and gives you that strong armor push at the beginning. But well, we'll see if that's what he goes for. Anyways, Grenadiers capturing the south. Engagement still in the center. Grenadiers have actually finally lost 1 man, while the conscripts are now down to 3 men themselves. We do see a combat engineer jumping into that church to help them out, but the combat engineer can't actually do much with that flamethrower, so they decide to jump out once again. While these conscripts are now down to 3 men, those 3 men are actually shooting from that side, so they now actually have full firepower for the entire squad. Grenadiers, combat engineers pushing forward against those grenadiers, but they're not actually going to face off against 3 grenadier squads at the same time. 1 flame burst will go in. It actually does force a retreat on one of those squads, but now this combat engineer is in a little bit of a bad spot. Down to 3 men. Another volley from the squads brings it down to 2, and there goes the retreat. Probably 1 more guy will die on the retreat. No, actually takes some health damage, but they're fine. Does he have the medics? He does have the medics, so I guess that will be okay. Blizzard coming down on top of the map, and we see the conscripts capturing territory. Grenadiers also as well by fire. The center being quite heavily occupied by Ir0nRoman right now. We do see a grenadier squad running away to reinforce. Up north, we still have that MG-42 garrison in that house, denying this fuel for Inverse, while the conscripts are very battered over here at 3 men, but just capturing victory points, putting the tick back in Inverse's favor. So very nice. Point-wise, so far, it's pretty much dead even. 459 to 478. It's a 20-point difference. Not a lot to worry about. You see conscripts engaging grenadiers down south. The grenadiers do have an LMG-42. The conscripts do hit dirt right in front of them, getting that light cover, which isn't as great as it was before, but it will provide them a little bit of defense. But that LMG-42 is ripping into them. Down to 2 men. Is he actually going to be able to retreat it on time? He does hit retreat. LMG opens up on the retreating men and is going to do some health damage on the retreat, but they will be able to make it out alive at 2 men. So at this point, Inverse has actually lost his presence on the field aside from that conscript squad in the church. Conscript squad is now at 6 men, but the church is very low in health, even though, well, yeah, it's missing an entire side of it. Looks fine from this direction. You can see it right there. It's like, oh, the church is fine. Oh, wait, no. Look at that hole. You see so many conscripts dead inside that it's not even funny. But yeah, those guys are a little bit in peril. They're fine, but this house could easily collapse and lose an entire squad, so it's a little bit of a gamble there, especially with Company Heroes 2 houses that tend to collapse for no apparent reason. Sorry about that, guys. Let me just go ahead and exit that. Okay, so flamethrower equipped, the combat engineers down south trying to push away that LMG Grenadier. They might be able to do so with that flamethrower upgrade, and they do. Ir0nRoman decides not to risk and lose that. And we now see that Inverse did in fact go for a strategy that he had, been using before. Got tier 2, nothing from tier 2, and straight into tier 3, getting himself a T-34. That allows him to have the ability to call in AT guns and, hell, even mortars if he wants to. So, well, I mean, maxi machine guns are also an option, but, you know. Anyways, conscripts going into the center, hitting dirt, and capturing the munitions point. Grenadiers do move into the zone to stop that cap. They do take a shot to the face, and one man goes down. Down to 2 men on this Grenadier squad. Probably a rifle mate will go down. No. He decides not to waste munitions on that. Actually, he doesn't have munitions. Sorry. Didn't notice. No, yeah, it did go down. Okay. And the conscripts are forced off. They don't manage to capture that point. We see a Grenadier squad cutting off the strategic point down here for Inverse. T-34 running straight into the field, going straight center. One thing that Inverse mentioned in his explanation of his strategy early on is that it's generally a bad idea to do this because you might run into a mine, but he decided to take the gamble right now and did force off of the field 2 Grenadier squads. So he now has stronger field presence down south, and he's going straight up north to get that MG42 out of the way. MG42 does jump out of the house and get behind it. Sets up again because that's unfortunately what MG42 does, and now it hits retreat. So nice chalk factor there for Inverse T-34 on the field, but Ir0nRoman is already ahead of him on the counter and has a Panzer IV on the field. Panzer IV is not going to be counterable by that T-34 on its own unless Ir0nRoman, well, essentially messes up and you know, gets it maybe 18-aided and things like that. Then the Panzer IV could be in a little bit of trouble, but even so, the T-34 is going to have a tough time against that main gun. Grenadiers in the center do force off away another conscript squad. Conscript squad is about 3 men. Down south, another Grenadier. So all these Grenadiers, 5 Grenadier squads, are actually paying off for Ir0nRoman. It is allowing him to have a quite a significant amount of territory captured. We now have PPSHs equipped on the conscripts for Inverse, so those are going to be able to provide that much needed firepower to the conscripts. Conscripts do move forward and throw an 18-8 on that T-34. T-34 does get a crit on the engine, and not T-34, Panzer IV gets a crit on the engine. And the T-34 is behind for support, but it also has a damaged engine itself, so it's not going to risk moving forward. It could move a little bit forward and take some pot shots at the Panzer IV, but it will get fired in return, so it decides to just stay back for defense. Takes a nice shot on the Grenadier squad and kills 1 man there. Second shot goes in, doesn't actually land anything, but I believe the coaxial gun does kill off another one. Another shot goes in, trying to get those kills on the Grenadiers. Conscripts with PPSHs do jump into the house to get us some type of cover. The Panzer IV is opening up on the house, doing some nasty damage on the structure itself, and the conscripts decide to back off. Pioneers are on the field repairing. They're 1 sliver away from repairing that engine. If once that engine gets repaired, that T-34 is in a lot of trouble. It actually still has some damage on itself, and the Panzer IV is now moving forward. T-34 gets shot on. Ooh, conscript squad actually. No, was that a conscript or the engineers? It looks like it was engineers. Or conscripts actually have the same unit. I don't know. Well, anyways, 2 men die from 1 shot of the Panzer IV right in front of that house, and here comes more conscript squads and another Grenadier squad trying to defend that T-34. You can actually do it quite nicely. Inverse does have sufficient munitions to be able to throw a couple 18-8s, and the conscripts are all around. We have 2 squads over here, so the Panzer IV is going to stay a little bit at bay. And now, because of the a lot of Grenadier squads that Ir0nRoman has, he has now actually in that fight managed to capture pretty much the entire south. We only have this strategic point that is currently going to get capped by this 1-man Grenadier squad. Very bold there by Ir0nRoman. But he pretty much has the entire map, so only the northern section is in control of Inverse, so he's in a little bit of a trouble here. We do have an AT gun coming down, or coming into the field by Inverse. That's going to help him out against that Panzer IV. That is why he goes for that Tier 2, Tier 3 strategy. And yeah, but the T-34 is only able to basically keep that Panzer IV right now at bay. It is not able to kill it until that AT gun hits the field. And, well, it's a little bit slow. And, you know, it's coming up, but it's going to take a while. Combat engineers get blown up. Flamethrower upgrade ignites and kills almost the entire squad down to 1 man. Conscripts pushing forward. They are going to get caught out by that MG42. MG42 getting caught from behind by that T-34, and it's opening up on it. It is doing some good damage, but here are some Grenadiers that are probably going to Faust that T-34. And yeah, they get into range. No, actually they decide to retreat. Interesting. Okay. Well, MG42 is now in a bad spot. It jumps out of the house and is going to retreat, but unfortunately, MG42 tends to set up at the worst times, and MG42 gets decrewed. Panzer IV does get a little bit harassed by the conscripts. They might have thrown some 18-8s. I didn't actually see them, but it has taken some damage. The AT gun is up top, so it has done some very nice damage to the T-30, to the Panzer IV. The T-34 does move into the zone, but unfortunately this is a ridge. As you can tell, it's a very big fall there. There's actually a wall there. Huh, look, actually I hadn't seen that. I had seen the ridge, but not the wall. So the T-34 can't go through there. It has to turn around, and the Panzer IV manages to, back off and get a little bit back into range. T-34 is at full health, so it might be able to actually pull it off against one Panzer IV, but unfortunately for Inverse, there is now a second Panzer IV on the field coming by Ir0nRoman, and with those two, it can actually overwhelm that one T-34 very easily, and the AT gun just as well. Nice defensive position there for Inverse, or concentrated position. The LMG on this Grenadier is opening up on the men that are currently the AT gun, basically. And unfortunately, since it's a Vet 2 squad, it's able to tank quite a while, even though there's a flamethrower Grenadier here and a T-34 opening up on it. Panzerfaust does go off by the Grenadiers. They actually wow, that was ridiculous. They actually managed to fully decrew the AT gun, and since the Panzerfaust went off on the T-34, two Panzer IVs are now in front of it. That T-34 gets abandoned, and Inverse throws in the towel. So, yeah, that Grenadier squad was brutal. Again, like I said, I don't know if it'll happen before this replay comes out, but veterancy is being reworked because most people agree that that Vet 2 that most infantry get, which is the armor or damage reduction, is a little bit too much. And yeah, you can see it right there. I mean, that Vet 2 squad just got up in the middle of everything next to a T-34, a flamethrower engineer, and the men from the AT gun, and did so much damage. It actually cleared out pretty much the entire AT gun, and made it so that Inverse basically lost everything he had at that point. So yeah. Not much else to say after that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description below. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.